Have you ever felt that you were destined for greatness, only to face rejection, betrayal, and hardship? Meet Joseph, the favorite son of a wealthy man, Jacob. How do we know he was the favorite? His dad gave him a dazzling, multicolored coat, a symbol of love and favor. But you know what happens when favoritism enters a family. It stirs up jealousy. Joseph didn't help matters either. One day he casually told his older brothers, "Hey, I had this dream where you guys were bowing down to me." They were furious. "What? Bow down to you? Never!" But Joseph wasn't done. He had another dream. "Guys, this time the sun, moon, and 11 stars were bowing to me." His brothers were enraged, but his dad, Jacob, just pondered it. The brothers' jealousy turned into a plot. One day while Joseph was far from home, they grabbed him and tossed him into a dry well. But instead of killing him, they sold him to slave traders for 20 silver coins. Their own brother sold like property. Joseph ended up in Egypt, a foreign land. He was sold to Potiphar, a high-ranking official. Even as a slave, Joseph had this unique gift. Everything he touched prospered. Potiphar noticed and put Joseph in charge of his household. But here comes the twist. Potiphar's wife had her eyes on Joseph and tried to seduce him. Joseph, being honorable, refused. Furious at his rejection, she falsely accused him of attacking her. Potiphar had Joseph thrown into prison. Now let's pause. Joseph went from being a beloved son to a slave, and now he's in prison. But Joseph's faith and character stayed strong. Even in prison, he gained favor. He started interpreting dreams for fellow prisoners. One day, Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, had terrifying dreams that no one could explain. In one, 7 fat cows were eaten by 7 skinny cows. In another, 7 healthy stalks of grain were swallowed by 7 thin ones. The palace was in chaos. Then someone remembered Joseph. "Pharaoh, there's this guy in prison who can interpret dreams." Joseph was summoned, cleaned up, and brought before the most powerful man in the land. Pharaoh described his dreams, and Joseph, with God's wisdom, explained, "The dreams mean the same thing. Egypt will have 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of severe famine. But if you prepare during the good years, you'll survive the bad ones." Pharaoh was stunned. He made Joseph second in command of all Egypt. One day Joseph was a prisoner. The next he was wearing royal robes and riding in a chariot. When the famine hit, it wasn't just Egypt that suffered. Joseph's brothers back in Canaan came to Egypt looking for food. They bowed before the Egyptian official in charge, without realizing it was Joseph. Joseph could have sought revenge, but he didn't. Instead, he tested their hearts, and when he saw they had changed, he revealed his identity. "I'm Joseph, your brother, the one you sold into slavery." The brothers were terrified, but Joseph reassured them. "Don't be afraid. What you meant for evil, God turned into good to save many lives." Joseph brought his entire family to Egypt, reuniting with his father, Jacob, and ensuring they had everything they needed during the famine. Timeless lessons for today. 1. Don't be surprised when your dreams face opposition. The enemy often attacks those with divine purpose. But remember, a pit is not the end of your story. It's a stepping stone for God's plan. 2. When life is unfair, stay faithful to God. Joseph didn't let bitterness take root. Instead, he kept trusting God and gave his best, even in the worst circumstances. Your character in adversity determines your readiness for elevation. 3. God's timing is perfect. Your gifts will make room for you. Trust God's process even if it takes years. He is preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine. 4. Forgiveness is the key to freedom. Holding on to grudges keeps you bound, but forgiveness releases you to live victoriously. Joseph's story reminds us that God can turn our pain into purpose and use even the worst moments for His glory. This is more than just a rags to riches story. It's about resilience, forgiveness, and how even the darkest moments can lead to something extraordinary when faith is involved. So whether you're in a pit, a prison, or a palace, remember, your story isn't over yet. Share and like this video so that more people can be inspired and motivated. If you're new to this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. God bless you.